Hi, this is Steve Schall from Norfolk Physical Therapy Center, and I'm with my friend here, Jake. And I feel compelled as a physical therapist to make some comments about work in the age of COVID, because there's a lot of things that we're seeing again and again just from people working in positions like this, maybe even in biomechanically worse positions. But let me just go through some basic things and talk about this. First of all, average human head weighs as much as a bowling ball. So when you get the head down in front of the shoulders, these muscles have to contract all the time, because if he were, go ahead and relax those muscles, and what happens? And just relax these two. His head falls in his lap. So he's got to have these tightened all the time or his head's in his lap. You can see how the head is in front of the shoulders. So that also rounds out the back, which puts stress on it. So here's the position he's in. He's like this with his head forward. And what we want to get him to is a position where his low back is in. Just pushing the low back in brings the head up over the shoulders. So if you don't do anything but correct the low back posture, you can see that automatically brings his head up higher. Now, he may have his head forward for a number of reasons. It may be because he needs new glasses and can't see the screen very well. There may be glare on it, and that screen's kind of low. If you have to do a lot of work on your laptop, we do recommend that people get some books, get the screen up higher, and then just have a remote keyboard. Those are available quite easily, and a lot of people have adapted that, and I think that's a pretty smart way to do it. So let's talk about a couple of ways that he can be sitting. We can go ahead and take a folded towel that can go behind his back and put him in a better posture, but of course with these kinds of chair backs, it kind of moves away and it really doesn't hold very well. Another way you can do it, that would work if he had a rigid seat. Another way you could do it is go ahead and sit up, slide back, and I just want you to lift yourself out of the chair a little bit. Good, and I'm going to put this under your butt. So just by putting a pillow or a towel under his butt, what it does is I'm going to have you slide back a little bit. That makes his knees lower than his hips, which allows him to arch his back and sit a little bit taller. Now there are other strategies around what you do with your legs. So let me have you pull this out of here, and he can slide forward all the way to the edge, and then he can bring his feet back even further so that his knees are, see how his knees go down when his feet come back, and that allows him to sit more, just perching on the edge there. That's a little bit precarious for some people. Or he can slide over to the edge here and just come into an almost kneeling position with that. So I'm going to show this because I can get myself into it quicker than I can arrange Jake. So here we go. So you can get off to the side. Be careful. You don't want your chair shooting out from under you. But as long as you have one knee down, doesn't have to be on the floor. I'm going to turn it so this butt bone is still on there. Now I'm in a position where I'm upright. Now, I've been asked before by people, well, what's the best position to work in? And the answer is there is no best position. You want positions you can switch back and forth to. That's where the whole standing desk idea came in, because you can switch between sitting and standing and not have to stop working. So one alternate is this with my leg dropped. I can, of course, go to the other side, drop the other leg. If you're really tall, you can just put one knee on the ground. Make sure you're not tripping people in the workspace behind you. But you can make these alterations. The whole concept of all of this is to get the back in a comfortably arched position so your head is up high and you can work in that position. So that's the goal. I hope this gives you some tips, and there's one more thing I want to talk about as far as what you can do to relieve stress, and that's coming up next. In spite of our best efforts, we do tend to spend more time than we'd like during the day sitting in a non-optimal position, bent forward, doing work like this. So I'm just going to make a suggestion. At the end of the day, you want to try and undo some of the stress on your back so it doesn't accumulate. So what you want to do is you want to replace this position, the slightly bent position, with the arched position. We talked about how to do that while you're sitting. But a couple of things you can do. I didn't mention this, but while you're sitting, it's a good idea to stand up periodically and just reverse that curve. So if you're stuck like this, you want to go in the opposite direction. This is why you see people at rest stops. They don't get out of their car and do this. They're all rounded out. They get out of their car and you'll see them do this. And your pets do it too when they wake up. They want to loosen up their back. So what you can do at the end of the day, it's very simple. You can do this on the floor. You can do it in your bed. Get some pillows up under you. And just pull them up under your chest and relax. If you have shoulder trouble, you might not want to lean on those shoulders. lean on your elbows and have the stress go through your shoulders. That's why it's nice if you can get the pillows up under your chest, maybe even a little bit higher, and just get that arched position in your back and let that stress you'll feel it kind of melt away and your back will sag a little bit and you'll feel better. So give it a try. Let me know how it works out.